Many coaching conversations are not as productive as they could be or should be because the client nor the coach really knows what we're talking about here. And so you want your coaching to be as productive as possible. And to do that, you want to address 3 questions at the beginning of every coaching conversation. Now, before I tell you the 3 questions, what I'm not saying is that this is a recipe or a formula. I'm not saying you should ask these 3 questions, 1, 2, 3, right in a row. Nobody wants to be coached by a robot. What I am saying is that you are going to make way more progress in the coaching conversation if you and the client are clear on what the client's response is to these 3 questions. So what are the questions? First of all, what's the topic? Second of all, what is the client's goal for this topic? And then third, what's the client's goal for this conversation as relates to, the topic and their goal for the topic? So let's unpack those just a little bit. What's the topic? What are we talking about here? By the way, a lot of times clients come in, they don't even have a topic. So you have to get clear on the topic. But the topic basically is just the issue. It's the thing in life that they want to talk about. Their goal for the topic is what do they want to see happen, with that topic long term? What's sort of their desire? What's their desired outcome for the topic? And then the third question, what's the goal for this conversation is, okay, what do we need to accomplish in the hour that we have that can move you toward your goal for this topic? And so, of course, all 3 of those questions need to align, topic, goal for the topic, goal for this conversation. And this is really a way of kind of getting the client to the pinch point of the coaching issue. And it's really hard to generate options and design actions and do all the other things if you don't have a clear pinch point. What are we really trying to accomplish here? And so let's give a few examples of how these 3 questions might play out. So let's say you have a client who comes in. What do you want to talk about? They say, well, I'm trying to launch my business. Okay, the topic is launching the business. By the way, hopefully your clients communicate that with that kind of brevity. Many times they don't. You'll have to kind of tease out what the topic is. But for this example, launching their coaching or launching their business, not necessarily coaching business. Okay, that's the topic. What's their goal for that topic? Now you might think, well, isn't it kind of built in? They said they want to launch their business. That's their goal. Yeah, but let's explore that a little bit. Where do they want to be a year from now with launching their business? What's it mean to have a launched business? How would they know it was launched? Maybe a year from now, they want to have the business actually operating. And by the end of that year, they want it to be profitable. Again, we're just looking at sort of a longer term point on the horizon that they're aiming at when it comes to their topic. And then it's what do we need to talk about in this conversation to help you get there? Now, this is where, as the coach, you do not want to assume the goal for the conversation. So you might just think, perhaps wrongly, they need a plan, or, then they need a business plan, or they need investors, or, they need to get their spouse on board or whatever. No, don't assume any of that. So what's their goal for this conversation? What do we need to talk about? This is often phrased as, what do you want to be walking away with, when we wrap up in 50 minutes? And so maybe in this example, what the client really needs from the conversation is to increase their motivation. Maybe they have a plan, they have investment, they have the capital necessary, all that kind of stuff. They just need to get motivated. And of course, you can drill down on that as well. What kind of motivation, what might help you get motivated, those sorts of things. But just notice those are the 3 layers: topic, goal for the topic, goal for this conversation. Let's use a more personal example. Let's say you have a client who comes in and their topic is their teenager. This happens if you have clients who have teenagers. They want to be coached on parenting their teenagers. But that's the topic. And by the way, They may come in with a more descriptive aspect of it. They may say, oh, my teenager, I caught him smoking pot. And they're thinking that's the topic. And maybe it is. You're going to drill down on that a little bit, because really the topic is the teenager or the relationship with the teenager. What's their long-term goal when it comes to the topic? Not necessarily the issue, but the topic. So what's the long-term goal they have with their son? And they're probably going to say things like, a healthy relationship. I want my son to make it, to be an adult. I want them to get there without having made too many bad choices along the way. And so what happens when you pull the client out of the immediate urgency of the problem is they can see kind of the bigger picture. So that's what's important to say. What's your longer term goal for the topic? Not just what's your goal in addressing this specific urgent immediate crisis. And so again, topic is teenager. Goal for topic is healthy relationship down the road. And now, what's your goal for this conversation? I need to know how to deal with the fact that I caught my son smoking pot. That's a pinch point. I need to know what to do. And again, you can explore that. You can tease that out a bit more. Maybe they need a plan. Maybe they need to, not be emotionally hijacked, those kinds of things. But it's basically they're wanting to walk away with knowing what to do in how to handle this. And you can kind of think of these three questions as being sort of nested, topic, goal for the topic, and then goal for this conversation. They do need to be aligned. And again, you're not asking just these three questions. You're not asking them all in a row. It just kind of gives you an idea of these are some things that need to be covered at the beginning of a conversation for it to be the most productive as you go deeper into the conversation, especially as you explore options. You do not want to explore options if you're not clear what their goal is for the topic and what their goal is for this conversation. Otherwise, you'll just be kind of grasping at straws. So hopefully those three questions are helpful for you as you help your coaching clients.
Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content.